Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network.
If you've got money, you've got problems, because as they say, more money, more problems. But if you want to learn how to deal with these money problems, I have a podcast recommendation for you. Paisa Vaisa, hosted by Anupam Gupta, is your weekly dose of financial advice and tips that you can use to multiply your money. Maybe, I don't know. Mutual funds are subject to market risk.
Hey everybody, welcome to a brand spanking new episode of the Geek Fruit Podcast. I was about to say the Defenders. I don't know why, it was in my head. I guess that's the topic of this episode. And for the four Defenders who are in the show, that's Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Daredevil, and Iron Fist again? No,
yeah, Iron Fist
Jessica
again.
Jones, right. Okay, cool. We have four hosts for this episode. There's me, Tejas. There's Navin Narona, our producer.
Hello.
Hi, what's up?
Hi.
How's it going? There's Dinkar Dwivedi.
Sup, y'all?
And Siddhant Mehta.
Hi, friends.
Hi guys. Alright, so the four of us going to be talking about the Defenders. I don't know why.
Marvels.
It's not like we're all going to take one
I believe the
person.
Because
proper
it's
name
not
is
fair. It's not fair.
Netflix's The Marvels, The Defenders.
I think Marvel
No.
should let it be Netflix's Defenders.
I think it's...
Marvel's The Netflix's Defenders.
So now when you try and tag them on Facebook, which I have, I don't know why, I can't remember now for what reason, but when you try and tag like the various shows, they're all under Marvel's Luke Cage, Marvel's so-and-so, etc.
Sure, yeah.
So I typed in Marvel's The Defenders, but it's just under Defenders. No nothing.
And this is the actual page?
Yeah, that's the actual
I
page.
don't know whether to be impressed by that or...
I don't know, it's just a bit of trivia.
bit of a head scratcher.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's going on inside ABC Studios / Netflix? Why is ABC producing a lot of the... Do they outsource it to them for their production?
What,
Yeah.
ABC is producing Netflix?
ABC produces all, like, I guess the line production for a lot of these shows.
I didn't know that.
Because I keep seeing their names in the credits towards the end of the show. Before all the different voices of
Well,
like
I
the
suppose
voice
because
casts
Disney
of-
owns ABC and Disney owns Marvel. They're just,
there we go. That makes sense. So I guess they're
they probably
just
save
doing
some
the
money by
legwork.
outsourcing the production.
Yeah, I guess.
Cool. That makes sense. So Netflix itself doesn't have a production team. They are
No.
just a creative
No.
Yeah.
team.
But
I
they put
see.
money also behind a lot of people.
Yeah.
No, as in like, so they have the money and I don't think they have the actual, the physical manpower, right? Like
No.
it's not like ABC or, NBC or
But
whatever.
that's the difference between ABC the channel and ABC Studios also. ABC Studios
there we
produces
go.
for ABC the channel, which are separate things.
Seems,
It's
yeah,
like,
seems
we're
irrelevant.
getting into like very industrial
Yeah, okay,
stuff.
yeah, but
I'm
just
really
wanted to
glad
know.
we learnt about all of this.
All right, so that's the introduction to Netflix's Marvel's The Defenders. But before we get into that, we were just gonna take a quick moment to talk about Atomic Blonde, which was in theaters. Kind of an overlooked film, wouldn't you say, Dinkar?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Have either of
Because-
you seen it? Have you seen
Not
Atomic
yet,
Blonde?
not yet.
No,
Siddhant,
I
you
haven't.
It came and went so fast in the Indian...
I believe
It
it's still
definitely
in
came in
the theaters. Is
it's
it not?
around, but
yeah,
very
it's,
few
it's bound to
shows.
go in the next few
Yeah.
days, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a quiet movie everywhere. I only really started noticing it after it came out, and
Yeah.
it started picking up some really good reviews.
Yeah, so I don't know why, but in the beginning of this film, I read some bad reviews of it, and I was just like, oh, okay, cool, and I had no idea what the movie was about. I literally thought it was going to be something in the nature of Aeon Flux, or Salt, or, Ghost in the Shell / that kind of
These
vibe.
are
yeah?
all bad movies.
I mean,
Yeah, very bad examples.
So,
All
I know,
three
as
of
in
them
like,
are bad
no,
movies.
I
It's only
but-
Lara Croft away from actually...
Yeah.
no, by that I meant, by naming all these titles, I meant that it was a female-led science fiction-y kind of film. That's the area I thought it was inhabiting. But especially with Charlize Theron, who's playing this, now she's been cast as this really awesome action star, which is kind of new. I don't know any other female heroes who are just like or heroines who are being only cast as like really strong action figures. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you know about that?
Gina Carano is.
Yeah, but she's
But
not
then
been
she
doing...
came from
Yeah, but
like
then
kicking
she-
ass.
Yeah,
she is.
she
though,
was
so-
in
Emily
Yeah.
Blunt
anime,
comes
yeah.
close.
Emily
I
Blunt.
guess,
She
yeah.
was supposed to be, Black
I
Widow
mean,
as
back
well,
in the day,
yeah.
you had Michelle Yeoh doing all this stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
But
Smart
I mean,
guys,
Charlize Theron is way beyond all this
Yeah,
stuff.
she's Furiosa.
She's done. She's an Oscar winner for Monster
This
of
is
all
true.
things. She's
Yeah.
done like everything she needs to.
She's
and now
basically doing what Liam Neeson is doing, but like 30 years younger.
Yeah, she's kicking ass.
Yeah. So that's essentially what she does in this film. It's a movie now, to my my surprise, it was set in the Cold War era, and it's like she's basically trying to retrieve a list of spies from MI6 who are basically in the hands of people who...
A list
Yeah.
which is codenamed The List.
Yes.
Yes. People are
This
good
is
at naming
legit
things.
a scene
They really
where
are.
you're in a room with Charlize Theron, an MI6 guy and a CIA guy who are briefing her, and they go like, hey, so we need to retrieve this list of operatives. Codename is The List.
Yes.
And everyone kept a straight face. No
Yeah,
one made an
everyone-
offhand joke. Nothing.
So the cool thing about this film is that though it's set in this, it's set in Berlin, in this whole East Germany, West Germany kind of situation. The Berlin Wall is still, it's about to come down
It's
at least.
literally
It's just
set
a week before.
week before the
Yeah.
wall falls.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's a pretty like not high. I mean, like it's got a lot of really big action set pieces which are very physical in nature, and the reason for that is, I mean, the director, this is something that I was reading about, David Leitch, so he's the guy who did who's doing Deadpool 2.
Yes.
He also did like the short film, the Deadpool short film also, and he also one more film. He's basically
The Wicks.
no, so he's an uncredited director.
He wrote it with the credited director,
I see.
and apparently he co-directed.
So you can tell, like, by those two films, at least John Wick and this, that the story is very action led,
Yes.
so, and it's because this guy's done like 80 films of just being a stuntman, action coordinator, things like that. So it's obviously, this is really in his wheelhouse, and dude, honestly was not prepared for some of this. It was some amazing action which I've not seen in any other film till date. Like, it's funny, we're talking about Defenders, and I think I saw this right before I saw Defenders, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah. We saw this, and I was really let down with the action in Defenders because I saw this film, I think.
Because it was very
This
well done action.
was visceral, it was
Yeah.
amazing. So, like, they had this one scene, which I think is the hallmark scene in the standout scene in this film. It's this one, like, immense, at least appears to be this really long take, which is 20 minutes at least.
Yeah.
At least
It's a
20
staircase
minutes.
scene?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah, it's a
staircase scene.
trailer, yeah.
And it is unbelievable. It is just so well done. It's like,
Yeah, I'm sure they must have cut, but it's
Yeah, there
like,
you can see a few
basically it's
smart
a
edits
single
here and
take
there, yeah.
fight as far as we're concerned. The
yeah, and
audience.
even
Levels
for the
are
longest part
stunning.
of it is a single take,
Yeah.
and then I think when they go into like separate rooms and stuff, they have a few smart cuts and stuff. But dude, amazing action, really fantastic film. You guys gotta catch it, but not in the theaters. Why, Dinkar?
Because there are a ridiculous number of cuts in this movie. It is
Okay.
jarring to the point of... So this movie is heavily stylized. It's got this very 80s neon feel. Like, even if it's just Charlize Theron hanging out in a hotel room, like she's bathed in like this pink
Neon,
and blue
yeah.
light and stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
And there's this killer 80s
the
synth
score
pop
is
led
amazing.
soundtrack going on the entire
Really
time.
good.
Like,
Always fun.
There's like Depeche Mode and stuff in the background.
Yeah.
And the cuts are
I
really
haven't heard that
jarring.
in a very long time.
The
Yeah.
cuts are so
Yeah.
jarring because there's constantly this 80s music going on, and when a cut happens, you can hear the jump in the music.
And yeah, and you
So
know
it's
80s
even
music
more
is
annoying.
all 4/4,
Yeah.
time signature. There's no
So don't watch
there's no
it in Indian
crazy-
theaters, you mean?
You
Don't watch it in Indian
Don't watch
theaters.
it in Indian theaters. And like sentences where like, "Hey man, this is so beep," and I'm just like, but you just. And now when people listen to this, they're
Yeah.
gonna hear beeps in both areas. But like the words are like preceded by expletives which aren't censored, and then
Yeah.
some ridiculous words like the word prick are
Is
censored.
censored
Yeah, and I was
for
just
no
like,
reason.
what is that about? So I'm not sure.
Yeah, so, and this movie is entirely like the action and the dialogue, which are really fun, because the plot is
alright.
Is,
your
yeah, it's just
straight up
it's your typical like ridiculously complicated
Espionage kind of
ish thing with like twists thrown in and stuff,
Yeah.
but it's not really important. This movie is it's a ride. It's
It's a
got
great ride.
style and
That's
it's
true.
got like
Very
kick-ass action.
stylistic, yeah.
And if you're losing out on that, what's the point?
Yeah, and there's some really good performances. Like, I mean, between Charlize Theron herself
Charlize was
and
kick-ass.
James McAvoy, who's
Yeah.
never like disappointed me in a film.
Yeah,
like,
he's
he's
been
always good.
kicking
Whether
ass.
the movie is good or not, he's always great. So, I mean, we had
You
these two great
also have
performances.
I like John Goodman, dude. I thought
Yeah.
he was really
I
funny.
mean, he's brief
he's
as
doing a
ever.
John Goodman, but just seeing him, I think, is always funny.
And Toby Jones is also there, I think.
Yeah, who does he?
You
Yeah,
mean,
Toby Jones.
you mean
Zola.
Peter Pettigrew?
No, not Peter Pettigrew.
No, that's not him.
another actor, dude. That's
Really?
that's
Oh, wait.
Rafe Spall. Not Rafe Spall. Timothy Spall.
Timothy Spall.
Yeah.
My God.
He's Zola
You're
from
right,
Winter
he's
Soldier.
Zola.
Yeah, Winter Soldier and
I just
Captain
kept
America.
thinking Pettigrew when I saw him. He looks like Pettigrew.
They are not interchangeable.
They're both petite, but they're
These
not.
friggin' Brits.
yeah. But there
Small
you
evil
go.
Brits.
So there you go. The other small evil Brit who's in this movie is what's his name? Eddie Marzan, the guy who is basically the guy who knows all the list basically by heart.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah,
memorized the
yeah,
list.
yeah.
He's the third guy who falls into that category. Sorry, I don't know why we're doing this and categorizing them that way.
We are still
yeah.
just looking at you
It's like,
pointlessly.
what-
We're just saying,
alright.
watch this movie,
Yeah.
watch it on the internet at a future date.
Yeah, and with a moderately big screen.
So like there's a stable scene which is like one shot in this
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, yeah.
There's one in Daredevil as well.
Good segue.
And,
Good segue.
and Daredevil is in The Defenders. So let's talk about that.
And so we
Navin's earning those producer bucks.
He really is. He's going all in.
yeah. All right. Sorry. So okay, cool. So that was Atomic Blonde. Let's talk about Defenders properly now. Have you all of you seen all the other shows?
Yes.
Yes.
So I think that makes it an entirely rare thing because most people who I've spoken to about this show have either seen two of them, three of them, none of them. So I don't think it makes it.
I would put an asterisk there for me because it took a long time to finish Jessica Jones. So
Okay,
I
I
don't
see.
really
Yeah.
remember most
Did
of it.
you watch it all in the order in which it came out
No.
chronologically?
Yeah, well, Jessica Jones is one of those where I saw some of it, then I saw the new Daredevil, then I saw some more of it.
I see. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I think what this makes the Defenders like a half-baked kind of esoteric experience because like you do need to know, you could know a lot more about these characters, where they're coming from, and that would enrich what seems to be not really that deep of a show. But if you don't know these characters as well, do you think people can come in and watch this show?
They can.
from
I think
scratch?
they've done a decent job of giving the character and their side actors a lot of time to catch up.
Right.
In terms of dialogue as well.
So this catch up that you speak of, remember when the Flash would do it on these crossover episodes? I felt like it was only moderately handled, better than that. Just like a slightly
Yeah,
better
yeah,
version of that.
yeah.
But otherwise, everyone's like saying, "Hey, where have you been, man? Hey, man, how have you been all this time? Hey, didn't I see you at that thing? Oh, connect the dots."
What's happening in the hood?
Yeah, I don't know why I'm speaking that accent, but yeah.
And the other thing was Claire Temple just didn't seem to be bothered that they were all together, in a sense.
Like her world is
It's
literally
all
coming together.
literally all four.
We are Claire Temple.
No, but then she's there, and they're all there together, and they all know her. No one's questioning any of this, by the way. No one's like, "How do you know her?" And she's not like, "Oh, everyone meet everyone."
Right.
She's,
No, but she does do that preliminarily.
Hey.
She has Luke meet Danny.
The
yeah,
beat
that's it.
after the beat
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah.
The beat cute.
All right.
Okay, good
Right.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, but then
I read it on that.
I think
Go ahead.
I think it sort of sets up the rest of the show in terms of tone. There's just a way everyone just kind of meets up.
Yeah.
And you could know more about them. That would be better for you. But
Yeah.
I don't think it's completely necessary,
Yeah.
honestly.
I think so. Let's get to the plot of this show.
Are we going to just explain it outright?
Yeah,
or-
let's just do a quick brief synopsis.
A synopsis.
Dinkar, if you want to quickly just go through what the major points of the story.
Alrighty, so the big bad out here is the Hand. When we meet our defenders, Matt is trying to get back to life as a lawyer. Jessica Jones is trying to get back to life as a heavy alcoholic.
Private investigator, you mean?
Yes.
Heavy alcoholic.
Heavy alcoholic
Most days.
investigator.
Luke is just getting out of prison and he wants to go back to helping out Harlem.
Right.
Yeah.
And Iron Fist is hanging around being a rich douche.
Yeah.
More or less.
All right.
But
It
okay,
starts with
basically,
him in a sewer in Romania. No.
yeah.
No.
In fact,
in
so
Cambodia.
his story
Yes.
is the
Cambodia.
jumping off point for us as well because
Yeah.
Iron Fist ended with him
Kunlun,
going
yeah.
to Kunlun and realizing everybody dead.
Yeah.
So
Which they don't really get into because I think
Which
they're
I
saying
had
that
thought
for his
about
that's
as
the
well.
first scene,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
the
that's
Iron
literally-
Fist has been on a quest to find out what happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why he's in Cambodia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why the first scene is literally him fighting someone in a sewer and a mysterious assassin
Oh, yeah.
who he has to fend off.
Right.
Wearing bright red.
I wonder who it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he fights off this mysterious female assassin
With,
and has a
with
guy
those psi
die.
knives. Yeah. I mean, it could be anyone at this point.
Who knows?
Yeah.
She doesn't have those in the beginning of
She
the show.
does.
She
She
uses
totally
swords,
does.
guys. Come on.
So the dying dude tells the Iron Fist to go to New York.
Yeah, because you like it there, apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah.
So this is what our four heroes are trying to kind of sort out their lives, but they have to come together to fight the mysterious power known as the Hand.
All right. since I'm sensing a tone here that you guys are about to shit on Iron Fist,
We are not.
I am going to spend the rest of this episode defending him.
We completely
I am gonna,
are.
I'm
totally
going to
called it
defend
out.
you guys easily also, by
Oh,
the way.
come off it. You're going
because
down.
I want to.
Why do you think Naveen's here? He's here to echo what I'm doing.
Yeah.
He has his own voice.
He
See what
has
he's doing to
his
you,
own
man.
voice. No,
See how I'm splitting up the defenders?
We discussed before coming
Yeah,
to this video.
don't try and
You're
get,
like, who defend-
don't try
My
and
point is-
break our team harmony here.
My point is that because I know there are a lot of criticisms for this show. I have them myself, but I am going to defend a
See,
few of the
Naveen,
parts
I
which
should have
people
put
don't like.
money on it.
Yeah,
I should have put.
should've.
I told him there's going to be one person defending this, and that's
No,
Tejas
I'm
Menon.
playing the devil's
and
advocate.
you come
I'm
with
the-
me, and then we'll tell him how he's wrong.
Devil
You don't have to
advocate
play
of
the
Hell's
devil's
Kitchen.
You're
advocate.
the angel's
because
advocate. We are shitting on it.
Yeah.
Like,
As
The
you should.
entire show, I think there's a lot of good things about
Yeah,
the
there
show.
are plenty of good
No,
things in
yeah,
the show.
it's mostly Luke Cage related.
Plenty of good things in the show.
I don't know.
Plenty of things in the show which I think. So now I feel the dissonance is happening because there's been a steady decline in the quality of the show since like Daredevil season 1. Yes, that can be all agreed upon. And then when we reached Iron Fist, we
So
knew
wait,
that
you're
we
telling
got
me
rock bottom.
the first show of the series down has just been a decline
Yeah,
of the entire thing.
Of
I
course.
mean, I don't think so. I think Luke Cage is pretty solid.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not the level of the depth of
The
season
first
1
Daredevil.
of Daredevil.
Man,
we
I
can
don't
all
know.
agree on
Yeah.
that.
So the
I
thing
think
is,
like
I don't know.
I
I
think
like,
all
I
of
like,
us can
I
agree
like
on that.
Daredevil as much as I like Luke Cage.
Yeah, but Luke Cage, I mean, when we discussed Luke Cage, we were speaking about the entire, like, last 4 episodes being, like, completely unnecessarily.
8.
Wait,
Yeah.
I like
Come
Luke
on.
Cage. I'm
I
saying I
thought
really
Luke
like
Cage
Luke Cage.
went downhill as
After
soon
episode
as
6
Cottonmouth was out
Yeah.
and
Oh,
Diamondback
sorry,
was in.
by the way,
Yeah.
spoiler alert. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
So the first 3 shows had a lot of thematic concepts. Like for example, Daredevil is obviously this lawyer who's trying to hustle as a lawyer as well as
Yeah, ethical
kick-ass.
drama,
Yeah,
yes.
and when
Yeah,
he's doing
yeah.
parkour on top of the roof. We're okay.
Yeah,
with
it's
that.
great.
Jessica Jones, private investigator, has a lot
I
of
think the other
Yeah,
thing is
abuse.
abuse.
Yeah, there's a lot of. Yeah.
Luke Cage, we go directly into the hood. We see the Harlem lifestyle.
Yeah,
We listen
yeah.
to great music.
It's
We have
Black
very-
America that I've never seen
Yeah,
before.
and then
Like, I haven't seen in a
we have
while at
Iron
least.
Fist, which is just whatever. It's just
Yeah.
like elite white assholes
Yeah.
just being douchebags throughout the show.
Yeah.
And then we pick up from there only. In Defenders,
Yeah.
my biggest problem is that they put
Is-
Danny Rand in the center of it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then all came crumbling down.
All right,
So let's
so-
begin with this. I feel like the biggest issue with all the Netflix shows so far
Is Danny
has
Rand.
been, aside from that,
True that.
also the fact that they are 16 episodes long.
13.
13?
13.
Yeah,
Yes,
sorry,
13.
13
Yeah.
episodes long, when all of them kind of start falling apart around episode 8. Happened with Jessica
fact-
Jones, started getting draggy.
Yes.
Luke
Yeah.
Cage went to crap.
Yeah.
Daredevil season
But
2 also.
I think Iron Fist is the only show which picks up at
Because
the
Bakuto
11th
comes in.
hour.
That's
Nobody-
because when
nobody
episode 9
likes-
starts, you go like, oh my god, it's finally going to be over.
Yeah, yeah.
that and you're treated to Harold Meacham's greatness.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of good things about Iron Fist, the show, if not Iron Fist himself.
Yeah, Harold Meacham.
Ward
Ward
Meacham
Meacham.
is the
Yeah,
greatest.
Harold
And
Meacham.
I missed him so much in this
Dude,
show.
him
Madam
flicking the camera
Gao,
is just like my favorite
Bokuto,
thing.
basically anybody but the Iron Fist
But
was
the
good
Iron
in the
Fist.
Iron
Alright,
Fist. Yeah.
so
Yeah, let's
Coming
talk
back to
about how
Defenders.
all of this comes together in the Defenders. So, there is an effort made in
Yeah.
the first couple of episodes
Yeah.
to bring you onto the same page as to where these guys are individually in their life. And
Yeah.
I felt like that was a little on the nose with like,
Yeah, a lot
there
on
is
the
a
nose.
very distinct color palette for each of them. And
Yeah.
I don't mean
Yeah.
subtle
But
stuff
you
like there's a
didn't like
yellow
that?
thing in the
I
background.
I like that.
I liked
Actually,
that.
that's
That was
a-
interesting. I thought
I'm
it was cool.
okay with all of that kind of
That was
stuff.
actually
What I
okay.
didn't
Yeah.
like was that we spent the entire episode doing what should have essentially taken about 15 minutes because it's basically saying, hey, here's what these guys are up to,
Yeah.
and they all have their own lives. But instead, because Netflix knows people are going to binge the shit out of this, they go into like, well, let's just spend the entire first episode not having anything happen. There's literally no plot in the
Nothing
first
happens.
episode.
Absolutely nothing
It's
happens.
a building point.
It's
I
an
do believe
hour-long
it's a-
building point.
an hour-long
Yeah,
building
an
point is not
hour-long
cool.
building
Think
point.
of the format. I mean, this is not a show where like one episode is coming out at a time. It's not like that. It's a completely different
Then I
thing.
don't think it should be built like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I mean, you
I mean,
can't
hang
put out
on.
8 episodes.
Just because it's a buffet doesn't mean you eat everything, Tejas.
Exactly.
What?
Like
That makes
because
no
it's
sense
it's,
at all.
Listen, it makes complete sense if you let me
This is
discuss
about
it.
as
no.
sensible
Look.
as 3x2
No.
of Beethoven's.
Here it is. 8 hours
Yeah.
means you have enough time to go over whatever you want to go over. But that doesn't mean you spend all that time chewing every single scene out. it means you can really pack in what's entertaining and what's good. It doesn't mean you put in more because of the sake of the fact that you have time.
But I know, honestly, so here's my criticism with the Defenders. I think all the action, which I was really pumped for, kind of let me down. But the dialogue and the interaction stuff, that was the stuff that I enjoyed, man. I enjoyed that far more.
There were moments
far
where that
more
was
than
good,
I enjoyed.
for sure.
So, which is why I still prefer the setting up, the table setting of the first. And yeah, it goes on into the second episode, which is fine.
Yeah.
But, I think what maybe we can agree upon is that the villain of the show, which is Sigourney Weaver, is taken out so... I mean, like, that entire thing which is stretched upon for so long, which we all expect to be this Wilson Fiskonian type of, building of this villain, I mean, just crumbles, like, altogether. That was my
that's a
biggest...
big spoiler.
Second time it's happened.
Yeah.
Second time it's happened.
So let's
get into that.
So let's take a break.
Before we take the break, can we do one thing? I feel like we're all not on the same page as to what our overall opinion of the show was. Give me like a one-sentence thing of the show, so I know where you're coming from.
Right.
Like, personally, I thought Defenders had a lot of issues, but I highly enjoyed it.
Yes.
Siddhant.
I thought it was a really deep, long slog, basically. Yeah.
Tejas.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I enjoyed it, and I know there are issues with it, but I wasn't expecting a super deep show when it came to this one, because I know there were a few things that were touched upon, like, which I really enjoyed, but I knew it was going to be a...
You said the same thing
that's
as me, but in reverse.
And in 4
That's
sentences.
how Danny Rand of you.
Okay, go ahead.
It's barely enjoyable. Jessica Jones is the only savior.
I see. We've set up a very interesting conflict here. It's 2v2, so it's going to be cool. Also, I'd like to say that 13 is too many episodes for a Netflix show, and it's too many tits for a Beethoven.
Yeah, that's true.
8, on the other hand.
8.
Yeah.
Come on, 8.
It's even.
We'll see
is.
you after.
It is, guys.
I think it's time for that break.
Long, long ago, not in Bethlehem, but in a place nearby, there was a wonderful birth of a huge show, which I like to call Cyrus Says. A show that encapsulates everything in human history, from the first Homo sapien to the last Homo sapien, who's traversed the entire world and then come back to India. This is a show which tells you everything about everything. If you want to know, avoid Google, come to us. It's called Cyrus Says. Get new episodes every Monday on the IVM podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts on. You get one Batata Vada free with every podcast. Right. I'll just check that.
Cool, we're back. We're talking about the Defenders. We all have different opinions. All right, let's go back to the plot. Let's talk about Sigourney Weaver's character, Alexandra.
Yeah.
And let's talk about what her intentions are with Hell's Kitchen, at least with New York.
She was built up very well. The opening sequence where she's dying, and we understand that everybody from the Hand has always lived forever. And when they give the idea that they have been causing earthquakes and Pompeii and everything that happened in the past, including the Ice Age, is because of the Hand. And so we know that she's been around and she wants to live for a while. And so her motivation is right. Her bringing the people together for a reason is right. Okay. And her using Elektra is also you justify it, okay? But every time she sends out Elektra, nothing happens. Like her basically sitting in the car and watching the entire, because she shows that she can kick ass if she wants to.
Yeah.
All of them can.
All of them can.
Where did Gao's powers come from? Like, literally.
She
literally
should powers in the
powerless.
Iron Fist.
The substance
Yeah.
is what I believe it to be.
So she's always there in the sideline watching Elektra trying to get those guys, and they never get them. And then eventually she dies.
Yeah.
It's all for moot.
I think
From behind.
behind.
So I think the whole point of it was a gas, man.
It
was a full kind of left turn from. I think they were doing it like casting a big name.
It felt
doing the
like-
whole thing. It was just to say, "Hey, gotcha." It's actually
Yeah,
Elektra.
And
It
then
felt
we want
like
to
it
punch
was
Netflix in the
just for
face,
the
basically. Yeah.
But you know what? I would have been okay with it if it wasn't Sigourney Weaver. I like Elektra, and I think Elektra is far more convincing as a villain for the series than Alexandra is. But because we don't actually see Alexandra do anything, there's so much monologuing in this show, especially with the villains.
Yeah.
Which is why I really love the Defenders in this, including Iron Fist. For him being a shithead makes his character way more interesting. But when it came to the
I've
villains,
heard this theory before.
no,
but
but I'm
okay.
saying,
Yeah.
when it came to the villains, everyone is saying the same thing like 800 times.
But
Like,
listen, they have
serve life itself. The
they
number of
they
times
have
serve
sweet
life
hobbies,
itself.
man. They're like sharpening blades and
Dude,
like
it was
I
all
don't-
for naught.
I think
And also, why is one
like
of
that's
them-
all you get to see. She's eating like awesome food,
Yeah.
talking in various languages, referring to places as Constantinople.
Dude, when you've lived
I
when you've lived more than thousands of years,
you
you've
have
got
a lot
to do
of
something
hobbies.
with your
No,
life.
no.
And that's all
Fun
they
fact.
do is like they're talking to each other and doing hobbies.
Fun fact, she was going to play Emma Frost in the X-Men universe at one point.
Really?
And it's like, if she didn't get that role, this is where she's channeling it. It's very obvious. She's in white all the time.
Yeah.
Monologuing all the
Interesting.
time.
Well,
Yeah.
Man,
the
but-
other thing is that,
Yeah.
just to come back to all these data, first of all, I think Sigourney Weaver they said, hey, so you're going to have to learn this bit of, Chinese or whatever. And she was just like, no.
Yeah.
And they
Japanese.
Just,
Yeah.
or Japanese
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they just like,
And if you're a Japanese dude, you'll have to learn some English.
I'm sorry. I'm
the
the
only
one.
one-
I'm
yeah.
one of the fingers of the hand. I don't need this in my life.
and they just said, okay, Sigourney, just one line. Come se kam ek line to bol dijiyega. And then she was just like, and the last line of that entire initial dialogue with, what's it, Murakami?
Yeah,
Murakami.
Yeah. Murakami. By the way.
Yeah.
How is that for a villain's name?
I don't know.
I think somebody had a
don't
grudge.
know. I mean,
but yeah.
anyway, they have so many names, right? They just pick him. So he must have been like, oh, this is a good name for now. I'll
Yeah.
go with
I wish
Murakami, yeah.
it was Nobu, in fact, because we had spent a lot of time with that character. Anyway, we're coming back.
Yeah.
So I did not appreciate any of the villains except for Elektra, which is why that, when, Alexander is finally offed, just so abruptly, I was just like, all right, sure, let's go ahead with this then.
I think Elektra wasn't that strong either, and her coming
she
out to
wasn't,
be like
but
the
she was
real
way more
villain of
stronger
the
than the
piece.
other villains. That's my point.
Probably only because of what we know about her already.
Yeah.
But what is she even doing here? She knocked off Alexandra.
I
Why?
am so pissed off with this because I was talking to Naveen about this earlier.
Yeah.
1 second, they killed her. Okay.
Yeah.
Like she objectively died. Okay.
Who,
And
Elektra?
Elektra, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And they only wanted the body. They only wanted the body to like sort of use it as a vessel for some kind of evil presence.
And those are the
That's
words
right.
which are
that they use as
they
well.
have said
Right.
all of this.
Yeah.
That
That's correct.
clearly means Elektra's out of the picture and this is some kind of random deity.
Yeah.
Right?
A resurrected Black
How
Sky.
on earth does this turn into Elektra?
Come
again?
on, Siddhant, we
Like-
all know better than this was going to
No,
be
no.
the
Yeah.
only thing. How
I
many times
mean-
has this plot been used?
and
That's okay.
I
I
know,
think.
inside.
It's going to be
Yeah.
used. And
It's you,
and,
remember
and,
me.
and this is what I'm trying to say, okay? This idiot, okay, he says that, oh, she could have killed me so many times she didn't even try, and she never did. Like, she totally did. Danny Rand came and punched the sword and broke it. Like,
Yeah.
if otherwise she would have killed you.
That's plot armor, though. I mean,
That's
Yeah, I
that's
think
the only
that's
cool
fine.
punching scene he has in the entire
It's the only heroic thing he does,
he does
in the
he-
entire
he-
show.
I think the fist was used well in this show.
Right,
As opposed to the previous
as
ones.
a complete 5-year-old, everybody knows he's going to break the door open because he's angry at her,
Yeah.
and he goes and does it also. And every single epithet used against Danny Rand is completely justified.
Of course, yeah, but
Thundering
calling him
dumbass
out
is
now.
actually how it
that's
should
what
be
I
referred
loved
to.
about this show. I mean, like that's
How?
really
They do
okay.
kinda
One second,
treat him
He's
like
so annoying, dude. He's so annoying.
He's treated like how you
Colleen
would
Wing
treat
is
him.
even more annoying.
I mean, that's
How?
the whole point. I think everybody in this show, in this universe, I'm saying,
Okay.
kind of gets that Iron Fist is a bit of he's a bit of a douche. He's an
He
entitled
is-
white boy. In fact,
yeah.
there's a good scene where Luke Cage explains privilege and entitlement
Yeah,
to him,
yeah.
which I really liked also.
That's
and
right
you know,
at the
I
top.
think this entire show is kind of getting him back on. I mean, we can't hate Iron Fist forever. He's gonna have a season 2. We're gonna have to find out. You're gonna have to find out why
Shit.
he's a good character.
No,
a
I
compelling
think
character
it's fine to hate Iron Fist.
I
and
think it's-
maybe he's not a compelling character, but I do think the show leaned into that.
Yeah,
not
and they-
on purpose,
I
but
think
No,
they
no,
fixed
this
it.
was
natural.
completely because they had to double down. They didn't want him to be like this.
But this
they
wasn't
did
on-
not write him to
they
be like
did
this.
because
Yeah, of course they did.
Defenders wrapped
I'm
up
sure they
even
did not
before
plan-
Iron Fist was put out.
I doubt it.
It was. The guys talked about it. They were shooting the last episode when Iron Fist came out, so
Exactly.
it was too late to change it.
Yeah.
It's just natural that Danny Rand is a douche.
Yeah, I
Right.
think
It
I
was
don't think they
writ
were
this
going
I
for it.
really don't think you can simply justify it by saying, "Oh, he's dumb. We're supposed to accept it, and that's why
What?
it's fun."
Wait,
Why?
wait,
What's
it's
wrong
not
with
fun.
what
I
thinking
thought
of
it
that
was
is like
annoying.
There
Like,
is a
that
scene-
that can be a clear negative as well, which is what a lot of people think, not just me. So it's not some
I
randomly
found him less annoying
defensible.
here
Yeah, I
than
found
he
him
was
way-
in
That's
the
because he
other
has
guys.
less screen time. That's an obvious answer to that
not
question.
true at all.
They lean into
He
the
had
idea
a
of...
lot of screen time in this.
It's
He had
not
an
his
equal
show.
number of screen
Tejas,
time.
it's not his show. Obviously, he has less screen time. Come on.
No, as in less screen time as opposed to
where he can be an idiot every 5 minutes in his own show. Here he is an idiot every 20 minutes.
All I'm saying...
I feel like the difference is, in Iron Fist, it was kind of set up like it's the immortal Iron Fist, and you're watching and you go like, no, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Here, it's set up as like, hey, here's an idiot who just happens to be the immortal Iron Fist.
Yeah.
And I love
exactly.
that.
I really
Plus,
enjoyed it.
he's got this like big puppy dog thing happening now. He's like,
they've
guys,
turned
can
him
we
into
be
an
friends? And they're
enduring
like,
character.
shut the up.
Yeah. I think they've turned him into the kid of the group.
There is this part towards the end where he's tied up and talking to Luke Cage, and Luke brings up how him and Jessica used to date, like he hints at it.
Yeah.
And these guys met like 3 days ago and they're fighting crime, and Danny Rand goes like, Jess? And I'm like, Luke should be like, Shane, you're Jess.
And even like how Iron Fist had this whole scene where like, it's like, I'm going to go to China and get Madame Gao, but what are you going to do? I'm just going to get her, man.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's from his show.
And again, there's a recall value to this as well, because he's like, they want you, but I'm going to fight them alone. I don't want you guys. But all three of them, like, they spend 15 minutes convincing him to not go alone and fight them.
Yeah, exactly. And they tie him up.
Which is good.
I think it's
I don't think he can carry a
nicely.
show by himself, but as a utility player here, who's like the idiot of the
I
group.
will say. And
Danny
let's
Rand is
conclude
the guy at the
literally
end.
talked about him having a season 2, and we've now come down to he can't carry a show by
Hold on,
himself.
hold on.
Great.
So I'm not endorsing Iron Fist season 2.
I'm literally not
but
endorsing Iron Fist at this point.
Okay.
He is the kid at the end of Captain Planet who goes like, heart.
Yeah, exactly.
I will
He's
say,
that.
one
He is
second,
that.
I will say this, okay? It's fine to say he's supposed to play this role in whatever. I'm saying I would rather not have him there because I'm having so much more fun with Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
That's
and
just
it could have been
that's
much
not
better
the case
with
for
them.
me at all.
I know,
Like,
but now
Iron
you had your
Iron
time.
Fist is not
you
the foil
literally
of this group.
set this whole thing up. Now I'm telling you why he shouldn't be there. Okay, you had your turn with this entire Iron Fist is we've leaned into him being the dumbass. Well, he just ate up valuable time, which again we could have spent doing anything really than just spending time watching him just have to be cajoled constantly through this entire process.
Yeah, and I like that.
So this is odd because I actually really enjoyed the 4 defenders and how they played off each other. My issues with the show have been the villains and the plotting, because let's start it from here. There are
good segue.
the
I mean,
fingers
I'm
of
with you
the
on this
hand.
anyway, but yeah, go ahead.
The fingers of the hand.
Yeah.
We meet Sigourney Weaver, and she's instantly like the most important finger, just because
No reason why.
there's no
I think she's
reason
white.
why.
She's the thumb.
She
She's or the middle finger, like the longest one.
Yeah.
But also like she's such a good actor that there's instantly like gravitas when she's on screen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
cool. She works.
Yeah.
But her like ridiculous idea that I'm going to resurrect Black Sky in the body of Elektra, there's never any explanation for it or why she
Wasn't
puts
she already
so much...
Black Sky in the season 2 of Daredevil?
Yeah.
But why is she resurrecting Elektra and then fighting
was
her
already-
frenemies
I think
for
Tejas,
thousands
she's sort
of years?
of identified as the Black Sky. She's not the Black Sky as yet. I think that's the whole plot twist in Daredevil 2.
Yeah, exactly. That's the plot twist.
That's the plot twist. It's like, you will become Black Sky, but we're calling you Black
my
Sky.
issue is not
And then-
Elektra being Black Sky. I'm saying, why is Sigourney Weaver, what's her name? Alexandra.
Yeah.
Why is Alexandra suddenly going like, this girl is our only hope?
Because I think-
because they spent all their substance on her, right?
Yeah, to bring her back.
Why
because
did she
is the-
spend I
because
think
she's
the
supposed
other
to-
because
fingers of
she's-
the hand are
yeah.
completely justified.
Yeah.
These guys have lived for like so many years, and suddenly she's going like this one.
Essentially, she's the villainous chosen one, right? She's the one who's gonna help.
But why?
them.
Usually there's a reasoning behind like my chosen one because
As in-
of so and so. She's going like, this is the ultimate weapon.
I mean,
but there's
if
never.
you've watched all the shows up till now, the villains really win kind of in the end, in their own way. Like whether it's Black Sky coming together or Luke Cage getting put in jail or whatever, somehow the hand is winning. You know, especially Iron Fist, where basically they got whatever they wanted.
Pretty much.
You know, so whether it's Bokuto Gao or Murakami, whatever.
Or Suwande.
Suwande.
All these guys, whoever it is, they've pretty much won against all these people individually.
Except Jessica Jones.
Because they've lived
But
for
then she didn't
so
really
long.
clash with them.
Yeah,
she
she didn't
clashed
have a
with
hand-related-
she clashed with the other guy,
Yeah.
the purple man. But the point is, why do they need a separate weapon? Like, they're clearly winning all their battles.
Yeah, that's what. There never seemed to be a reason to bring Elektra into it.
Yeah, because they
which,
already...
Again, I'm fine with her as a character.
Hello, the first 2 episodes of this show are basically we own everything, we own everyone, we own history.
It's,
Who are you people? But okay, we need a
the
ninja
problem
black sky
is-
thing to kill
well,
you.
I think the whole plot is that they need Iron Fist to open this gate so that they can keep surviving, right?
I guess, yeah.
Which
the
is
whole-
fine.
Yeah.
That's an understandable plot.
So
Yeah.
I think, but
we have this one key weapon that is
so
being
she's
championed by...
she's the only thing who can fight the Iron Fist. I think that's what. And then
This isn't
suddenly
really-
realize Iron Fist
not
is not
really.
a
Gao kicked Iron
adversary.
Fist's ass like one season back. Bakuto kicked Iron Fist's ass one
Daredevil
season
beat
back.
Iron
yeah,
Fist.
but
Like,
now that-
everyone has had turns beating Iron
Yeah.
Fist.
Yeah, but
It's
I
a
think,
stretch.
Yeah, it's a full stretch. But I think, I mean, she's dying, blah blah blah. She needs some. She can't fight her own battles for herself.
Actually,
because she's had some organ failure and all that stuff is happening to her, right? Like that's what's happening to her, right?
I will say this one thing. I think that this whole thing has taken place because for some reason she thought that, like, if I have the ultimate weapon, there's no way we can fail. But that's what's created the schism, and that's the only reason the Iron Hand can be taken down in the first place. Because if we've seen up to this point, they've won every battle pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
Like, they don't need any help, or they don't need anyone to stop him, because they'll just,
I have
if they're
issues
fully
with
united,
this 5 fingers of the hand thing also, speaking of
Yeah,
unity.
I mean...
Gao and Bakuto are like at each other's throats and killing each other in Iron Fist, but now suddenly they're friends for like
Exactly, that's
decades.
almost-
But
Decades, what, centuries.
they've already said that they've tried to kill each other like 100 times.
Yeah,
They've
do a
been frenemies, sure.
They are
but
frenemies.
Also, like, there was no mention of that during Iron Fist. It feels like some
Yeah.
hardcore
when
retconning
he
to
came,
me.
when he came to the scene, I'm like, why is he here? Like, what's the whole point? Because the whole advertisement of his hand version was ki we are cooler, we are not like those guys.
Yeah.
So Colin, come and join us. But this time, Colin, we're still the same people. But now I'm with these guys.
Yeah.
Come and join us.
Yeah.
Why Colin? Why do we need that woman?
Constantly.
Colin,
He's now mortal. His whole operation's about to fall apart. Literally beneath his feet.
Yeah.
Okay? He still comes up all the way. And he's like, please join me. Like some kind of bizarre stalker.
Yeah,
Okay?
Like Alexandra has Black Sky, I want Colin.
Yeah,
He's-
Colin
he's,
will sort this out.
He's
you know?
European Justin Timberlake.
Like, it makes no sense at all. But I guess that the Black Sky angle is also just there so that there's some weakness in the hand that we can exploit. Because now they have to get together, they have to cooperate, they have to be on each other's side because they're now mortal. Before, they could get away with anything. Like, how they treated that guy who got captured. What's his name again? Suwande.
White Hat.
Yeah, how they treated him. Like, she's like, yeah, he'll find his way out, it's okay. Like,
And yeah,
and the rest of them like,
also
how
his-
do you know?
his
And
entire
like,
capture
"Arey,
also was a
come
little
on, yaar,
suspect, you know, like-
they get caught all the time,
Yeah.
whatever. Hey, Luke just shows up with
Luke
him.
just shows up. We
Yeah,
just
yeah.
assume-
Arey, I caught him, damn
The
good.
good thing is that you can believe it.
Yeah,
Like, if
I
Iron
I
Fist did it,
can
we
believe
can't-
it,
we can't
but it's
believe
like
it so
you
much.
set up 5 fingers of the hand
Yeah.
as this like big mystical force who've survived for like so many centuries,
yeah.
and then like off screen you're like, oh, by the way, I captured one of them. Huh?
Yeah.
It's-
No problem, man. It
It's
was
a
all
weak
good.
villain.
It was a weak
is
one.
my issue.
Well, he deserved to
and
have his
that
head
brings
off.
me to problem. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Brings me to problem 2. The Elektra Black Sky becoming the big bad
Yeah.
after chopping off Sigourney Weaver's head.
Yes.
Where did that come from and why?
Oh, apparently she wanted to take her destiny back, which I understand completely.
What does
I
that
don't
mean,
want to
though?
be.
I don't
want
think
to
she
be.
had any plan. Like, she didn't have any idea.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna axe this one off because I want to be I want to be the head of this organization. But what am I going to do
But
with it?
she
No.
doesn't.
I think she just didn't want. Her thing was, I want to be free, right? I don't want to deal with any of this. I don't want to be Black Sky. I don't need the weapon. I don't want to deal with any of this. But I'm thinking at this point, if you kill this woman, okay, what next? So she's like, yeah, immortality, that'll be great. Like, what'll I have left to do? So it's down, in the building. I have to just get Iron Fist to open it. That's basically it.
So she has no
That's the whole
plan.
thing.
She
The plan
killed
is
off-
let me take Alexandra's plan and run with it. And then these other people are losers.
But without Alexandra.
Yeah, because I don't need her.
That's such a weak motivation for a
It is. It
villain.
really
I
is.
mean, it's rubbish.
But I preferred it because, honestly, even with Sigourney Weaver there, the presence that she is and stuff like that, it just didn't work because none of her, you can't take any dialogue and make it work.
You can't.
And even though Sigourney Weaver, she was literally just saying the most, cryptic things over and over again. It's just like, I like some of it in the beginning where she's like, oh, this park, this was made, da da da. You have to give some
I like that scene where she goes like...
now you feed the ducks, or feed the pigeons.
No, the Constantinople one.
Right. She's eating in the restaurant.
But also, I'm just like, I was really frightened. In fact,
I thought
was my weakest points of the show.
Really? Because I thought she was the one villain with some heft. Because
I agree with that.
Murakami was
none of them are good. None of them are good.
They literally aped the Tywin Lannister intro scene for this. Where he's like desecrating, what do you call it? Like ripping apart an animal while talking to Sigourney Weaver. Madame Gao, we've seen so much of at this point.
Madame Gao,
go like, I don't know. She's the biggest villain in the world.
She's such a sucker.
What hurts about the Madame Gao thing is that she is so impervious to everybody in Iron Fist. And in this one, she's immediately a servant.
Exactly.
Immediately.
It's a little random.
Like, with no power at all. And then she fights, and she's clearly the strongest of the hand also.
They build up showing that she's got some plan, as if like she's subservient to her right now. Maybe there's a bigger purpose. But then Alexander dies and that she has nothing to do. There's no payoff for that whole...
I'm just thinking, for me, I think like Sigourney Weaver, all of the fingers of the hand, all were useless. None of them were good, which is why when Elektra literally takes over and you don't know what she's going to do, because she's kind of like an unbalanced, chaotic, kind of thing who can just do whatever she wants, makes it far more interesting. Because I don't know, she's going to kill Daredevil, what's going to happen? It's so much more interesting as a character, especially because we've come in with the knowledge of knowing who she is, and she has some history with Daredevil, etc. For me, far better, far more interesting. It was a good call. It should have happened 3 episodes earlier.
I think it was
That's the whole show then, Tejas. Everything should have happened 3 episodes earlier, right? I mean...
Yeah, I know, because there's so much poetry, waxing,
So we're clear, we're all on the same page on this. The villains and the plot mechanisms were pretty weak.
The plot mechanisms. I think the plot is okay.
I still don't know why there had to be an earthquake. I still don't get it.
They don't really explain
They don't talk about it. We just see some dinosaur bones.
So exactly.
Basically.
So in the beginning of the show,
we have no idea what's down there.
In the beginning
I still
of the first
don't know
episode,
why they're doing all
when
this.
When they did the earthquake, I was like, oh cool, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I thought I thought 8 episodes of the city being on shutdown, that would be great. Like, it kind of keeps it as
New York is
as
in
an
chaos.
Event.
Awesome.
That would have been great.
I get it, yeah.
But like an Arkham City or something, something like that. But then, it's quickly resolved. They don't explain what the earthquake is. It's probably got to do with this whole,
the earthquake only gives the side characters a reason to come out of their houses and talk to each other.
Sure, fair enough. Okay, I can accept that. I did in a weird way, I kind of liked that it was this dragon bones thing, that's what the reveal was. It was interesting for me. I thought that was...
I thought that was okay.
What do you do with it? I mean, I think they're supposed to sacrifice the city. Like, they're supposed to sacrifice the city through this one thing, but I still don't know what it is, what it does, how it benefits the hand in any way to make whatever the hell the substance is. We're not even...
Basically, it's
pretty much.
What?
They basically grate the bones and make churn out of it.
Pretty much.
Exactly.
It could be anything. We still don't know why this is happening, and even the threat is so overblown. Because you go down there in the lift, which is ridiculous. How they have 10 minutes to talk on a lift, I'll never know. Okay, but they're going down on this lift. Okay, and we're down here now. Okay, everything's going bad. Let's try and save Danny and leave. In literally 10 minutes, they're done. And then Daredevil's like, you know what? I'm staying back.
So let's get to that. The action sequences. For me, really, really disappointing.
Very bad.
They were awful.
There are some scenes where you can see Iron Fist literally just doing this. And the two guys. It's not even doing the proper fight. Because they're trying to do the whole one motion capture. All 4 characters. And it's just... And still Finn
I think the only thing that I enjoyed was maybe the first corridor fight. Like, that was cool. Because it was... And I swear, this is why. It's because it was well lit.
The first corridor fight is your Midland one.
Midland,
That was really good.
That was cool.
They were the one on the top floor.
Yeah, exactly, because it was well lit. And I think all of the fight scenes in this aren't really lit at all.
No.
And they're trying to go for this dark... But I was like, dude, I can't see what's going on, man. Like, I can't see the action happen. And
I feel like this has been a problem with a lot of the Netflix shows and with Game of Thrones of late. Shit's just too dark.
It's too dark.
It's too dark. Like, they're shooting it too dark. I have my screen at full brightness and I'm still straining to go like, what's happening in the shadows? Why are they doing this?
Like the Euron Greyjoy scene, for example. Nothing could be...
What's going on?
Which the Euron Greyjoy?
When he takes over the fleet.
Oh yeah.
In Game
I
of
mean,
Thrones.
yeah.
In this one, it's a bunch of stuff underground.
a lot of it
Like,
underground, yeah.
Maybe it's just to save money because they're like, oh, we can't afford that much of a set.
Yeah.
Just light this much.
Oh yeah,
The rest is black.
essentially that's what I think it was. You know, like
It's not that- that's not
we
the-
don't want to show too much. Like as in like when maybe it was a thing where we're not prepared with the choreography of these shows because this was shot immediately after Iron Fist. So I don't think Finn Jones or anybody else had the time to like. We know Iron Fist had suffered a lot
Yeah,
because of the
yeah.
action. So as opposed to everything else, but like in this one particularly, it's just like this is the one where you get the action right, and you're saying it's 8 episodes. It's supposed to be this fun romp, which for me, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it was.
It was.
But the thing that I'm gonna latch on to the most are like the hallway fight scenes, which become
I mean,
almost.
this is where you do all the cool Avenger stuff, right?
Exactly,
where you
yeah.
like,
The cool team-up stuff, here and there.
Yeah.
Shoot something off Cap's shield, you know,
Yeah,
all that,
all that stuff.
like
All that
nice
stuff.
teamwork
Fight
stuff.
styles should come
Come
together.
together.
Like it only
Exactly.
happened in the first scene where everyone like hid behind Luke Cage when the guns came
Yeah,
out.
that was
Or, like,
fun.
I love that kind of stuff.
like
Yeah,
that,
that's always good.
I'll get that.
Yeah.
I get behind that. And okay, there were moments where that was good. There were moments when they actually interacted. It was hilarious.
So that's.
I think there
better,
should have just
yeah.
been way more of that.
Way more.
Way more of that.
Yeah.
And anyone who says otherwise is just like
Like the
oh,
Chinese
there was
restaurant, the
enough
whole
of that?
restaurant scene.
No way.
When the waiters are getting food, is like,
Dude,
is that shrimp or
so
is it
that was
crab?
my
That
favorite episode
that is-
out of all of them.
I'm pretty sure they set that up to be the best episode and it
Yeah.
worked out.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's
but
the-
It's the one that features heavily in all the
Come
promos
on,
as well.
so
Yeah.
many cool relationships. The Jessica Jones and Daredevil. How great was that scene with the guy's daughter?
Yeah, exactly.
Where is that?
That happened
You know?
a lot. I mean, that made it a lot more interesting.
But
That's what,
it
than the
just
show.
didn't
That's
get
the
to
good
it.
stuff.
Yeah, that was
so
the good
we
stuff.
have discussed how the villains and the fight scenes were terrible, and yet Tejas and I enjoyed the show. It's mysterious why. So we will discuss the things we liked about the show after this break.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Amit Verma, the host of the weekly podcast The Seen and the Unseen. In my show, I examine the seen effects and the unintended consequences of public policy and private action. I show how policies meant to help the poor often end up hurting the poor. I've done episodes so far on demonetization, GST, surgical strikes, immigration and MRP. And I will continue my forensic assault on the truth in the weeks to come.
Catch the show every Monday on the IVM Podcast app or any other podcasting app that you prefer. Or visit seenunseen.in for all the latest updates.
Alright, welcome back. We are now attempting to defend the defenders. So Tejas, before we get rained upon,
Yeah.
what did you enjoy about the show?
All the things that I mentioned so far, like I mean, this is not a defense for Iron Fist, but I did like him in this show. It's weird. Is that weird?
I really enjoyed all the bits with the four
Yeah,
of
with
them.
the four
I
of
think
them, yeah.
because, we know that our three main guys, not counting
Yeah.
the Iron Fist, are great.
Yeah.
Like, Kristen Ritter is brilliant.
Kristen Ritter is like she's standout.
She
good
was
in
my
this.
favorite in this
in
one.
This, yeah, same.
Luke Cage, Mike Coulter is solid.
Yeah.
Charlie Cox is great.
Yeah.
And I feel like having Danny Rand, Finn Jones play off of them,
Exactly.
gave him some like
It made him very
levity,
endearing.
which is why the show was fun.
I agree.
All the scenes between them felt breezy. So episode 3, which is this bottle episode in a Chinese restaurant,
Yes.
it's Seinfeld by way of Defenders.
Yes, exactly.
It's so good just because of them sitting around talking
Yeah.
and not really like bothering to explain themselves.
Yeah.
And that is where, when we talk about how the different fight styles should have like blended, that doesn't happen. But they're
The dialogue styles are
the dialogue styles do blend.
definitely
Yeah.
coming
so like,
together. In
and
that.
this is why Jessica Jones is so great, because
Yeah.
she literally punches everything Iron Fist says. So when he goes like, I punched a dragon, Luke Cage is like, sure.
Yeah,
you
sure,
did.
yeah, exactly.
Jessica Jones is like, alright, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I can't deal with you
Yeah, I
guys.
really enjoyed that.
She
I
does that
enjoyed
with Daredevil as well. There's this great scene where like he finally turns up in costume and she goes like, nice ears.
Yeah, nice
and
ears.
And Daredevil's like, they're
Brilliant.
horns.
Yeah, brilliant stuff, man. I think
Fun stuff.
Yeah, between the four of them, I did enjoy it. I that's why I think. I mean, if I'm to talk about Iron Fist in that way, I'm just going to say that I think he's kind of crucial in this 4 people setup, because the 3 of them are very serious people, and and this guy takes himself seriously, but he's actually kind of a joke,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's what really completes the
They
the
literally
dynamic
tie
for
him
me.
up halfway through the show because
Yeah.
they're like, shut up and sit down.
Yeah, I think it's funny.
It's
and,
funny.
and I think the way they close the show, I mean, it leaves for some really interesting points for all of their journeys. I think so. One is the Daredevil's ending,
Yeah.
which is. quite
He
cryptic
dead,
and stuff like that.
but he alive.
He's alive, and this is, I think, the way they're going to start his next season, which is based on this Frank Miller arc called Born Again.
Yeah.
And
Meets
I
his
think,
mother.
yeah, where he meets his mother. So I think that's going to be really
That's
interesting.
the setup for him.
Yeah,
Luke Cage is like all of them get their own little setups.
Exactly,
right? Like
yeah.
Jessica Jones starts up Alias investigations.
Exactly, and I like that Luke Cage and Jessica Jones are giving each other the looks, because
Yeah, I know.
they are. I mean, they are married in the comics, and I'd like
They
to
have
see
kids.
that happen. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how that kind of unfolds. I was really hoping, maybe it was too much, but I was really hoping that they would end with a heroes for hire kind of thing between Luke Cage, because I like that
I think
dynamic
they
a
will
lot.
build towards that, because you do have Misty also being set up.
Exactly. Oh, that was great, man. I'm sorry. I thought that was awesome.
And Danny
I was
keeps
not
saying, no,
expecting
like,
it.
we should be on the streets, man. We should defend the streets.
So
As
I
they
like
call
that.
out.
So this is an interesting thing. In Civil War, the comic, basically when Daredevil is off, like he basically, I can't remember where he is, but Danny Rand becomes a Daredevil.
Yeah.
He takes on the role of Daredevil and he wears his costume and things like that.
They kind of hinted towards that
At
in
the end
this
of this,
one.
yeah, and I like that he's wearing kind of like what his suit is. That
Yeah.
was cool. And like now that he is kind of looking after Hell's Kitchen, because he finally says, I finally feel like I belong to New York. I think they closed that off really nicely.
Yeah.
And Jessica Jones is there. I would like to see similarly now, like how they show, like how the movies, I would want the movies to go, which is that no names in the titles, just like arcs, like Civil War was an
So
arc.
I
or,
feel like
things
this
like
is
that.
where it's almost like they're the inverse of each other.
Yeah.
With the movies, the MCU has been set up and is now going in a direction where the individual films led to the Avengers, and now an individual film isn't complete with the other heroes without the other heroes popping
Yeah,
in.
right, yeah.
Netflix, it feels like the Defenders was just like hey, these fun guys came together and now they're back into their own lives.
But I would
so
love
they're doing
to
it
see,
very differently.
I would love to see a Heroes for Hire show as opposed to another season of Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I think that would work much better. I would like to see Punisher back.
Can Iron Fist, but I think Jessica Jones by herself is great and Luke Cage by himself is
no,
great.
but the show
And Daredevil
wasn't.
by
But the
himself is
show
great.
wasn't perfect by itself. I mean, we've all said that 13 episodes too long. What could make it better? And even though Jessica Jones had Luke Cage in it, like it had a
Yeah,
backdoor
yeah.
pilot
Yeah,
for,
and
still
so
it's
it's
kind of
still-
failed like towards the end.
I
Even
mean,
like-
even
I
if
feel
like
like-
it-
One sec.
It was too long.
If we still think just about the Defenders and what happened here,
Yeah.
okay, these guys, as you said, the only things that really kept me in watching this, because really, Iron Fist, I needed to take a break, and Jessica Jones, I clearly took a break. The only thing that did keep me going was watching them talk to each other and hang out and do stuff.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if we can keep that, let's keep that.
I agree. I
And
completely agree.
I say that's why I'm not giving this like show like 2 on 10 or something. It's a 6 on 10 show for me for sure, because like the parts that were good. I'm not going to say they weren't. It's just that there were just so few of those things happening.
Very few.
You know?
Yeah.
Too few of them.
Like I really liked the dynamics. I liked the individual dynamics, which you don't see that much. Like I wish there was more time with Daredevil and Iron Fist.
So I
that was
I was
missing, for
reading
instance,
an article
you know?
by Marco Ramirez, the guy
Yeah.
who's the showrunner, and he's like, I know a lot of people wanted like different arcs, but he chose specifically to get Daredevil and Jessica Jones in like one arc together,
Yeah,
and the other one the
it
other.
makes
So,
complete
yeah.
sense, and
Good
he's
call.
right. But then if you just take away all the other stuff, you have more time for these arcs. You know,
Yeah.
if you cut the faff a little bit, then
Yeah.
you can explore and play with the things that people are here for.
Which
I
they
mean,
should have done.
Yeah.
Even in the comics, let's face it, it always started as entertainment. No one is writing comics because they're creating art for the sake of art. They're creating to entertain.
Well, now it is.
No, not even now, man.
I think
they don't
they've-
like write a character simply because that's how he will act. They still do stuff that's fan service.
No, of course.
and,
But what I meant
things
is that,
like
there's a lot more depth in comics. now,
Sure,
of
sure,
course.
there is.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the comics anyway have place to run into, and the medium makes you work in a certain manner.
Yeah.
Here, you have all this time, and you're just not using it right, in my opinion. And a lot of people feel like that. Like a lot of people have given this a skip, or have watched 3 episodes and said, I can't do this anymore.
I think that is an issue, like you said, with the
Yeah.
medium. I find this a lot nowadays, where people say like we've written it like an 8-hour movie.
Yeah.
I feel like that's wrong. If you're making a TV show, make a freaking TV show
Yeah.
or go make a... I don't want to see your 8-hour movie.
why not
If you
though?
wanted to see an 8-hour
Why
movie,
though?
we'd
Like,
have them.
It would be a movie if
We
it
would
existed
have
as a
them.
movie, right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be split up as episodes.
If 8-hour movies were always great, then we would have them by now. We
Exactly.
do not have them.
Like, it's fun
Yeah.
only if you binge it. I feel like
I
if
binged
you...
it. Yeah, that's exactly what I did, and I
But
enjoyed
a
it
lot
far
of
more.
That
people
is
could not
not-
binge it.
Yeah.
It was not
Which is
bingeable.
why the
But
show
isn't-
doesn't work
I mean,
for
this
them.
is a larger question, of course, as to what is Netflix's entire model and how they're approaching the
I think it
creative
should
thing
be
in their shows.
They do so many
Netflix's
shows
model
which
is
are not
binging,
like this.
which is fine.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what their model
I
should
think
be.
I don't know if it's what it should be. I'm not commenting on that.
They want to make money, and people who binge it straight away will get the money. Creatively, we shouldn't be writing shows that don't stand in a non-bingy fashion.
I mean, I think
Why
it's
bother
right.
doing
I
that?
think it's, maybe you're right until somebody does make an 8-hour show that is perfectly good as an 8-hour viewing. That's about it. We haven't seen it yet.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Then no, I mean, like, that does happen with, like, my favorite...
But my point is that if you watch the show in 8 hours in a stretch, did you watch it in one straight binge or did you
I
guys
watched
watch
it over a
it?
couple of days.
I watched it over 2 days.
So I watched it in pretty much one go.
Yeah.
But if it's doing that, isn't it serving the purpose of the creators?
For us, and we aren't the only people the
And
creators
we
are
kind of
creating
wanted
for.
to do it so that we could be here and talk about it on time.
Exactly.
If I
Never.
wanted to, I would have spread it out a little more also.
Yeah,
I don't
but-
know. Maybe that's...
And
but
we are literally the uberest of nerds who would
Exactly.
watch it in 2 days.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't be writing shows that cater only to us. What binging does is you gloss over issues with a show because you're just battling into the next one.
Yeah.
All these plot issues, if I was watching this with even a 2-day gap,
I
you
would have forgotten stuff.
And there would be no incentive
Yeah,
to
I
go
feel
back
like
and
I
stuff.
would have been...
Like, I actually had to go back to find out if Luke Cage actually caught the guy and I missed it. You
Exactly.
know?
So
that
the
was
plot
actually a
points don't
moment where I was
stick.
like, wait, he got him? I didn't remember that. I remember him
And
not
logic
winning
issues,
the fight. You know?
logic issues would stick out more. Like right
Yeah.
now, you take like a 15-minute break between episodes to go make a coffee, and where you're like, wait a second, why
Yeah.
did that happen? If you have 2 days, you're gonna go like, what the f-? Why did that happen?
yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I still think there's something interesting in this way of approaching television.
Of
Like
course there is.
I think
Of
this
course
is-
there is. Like
this
there's
is
so
using
many
it as a
great
crutch.
shows that Netflix does that we love watching. Like BoJack Horseman, I can binge happily and nothing happens to me.
Yeah,
So many
but every
shows.
episode of BoJack Horseman is like a solid, strong episode.
and
by
also,
itself.
Yeah.
it's
Heavy
status quo
content.
episodes. You know, like
BoJack Horseman is not actually like the
As in,
first
like-
season works great as a binge.
Yeah.
because there's a very clear
There's-
through arc.
Sure, but like I'm saying, you can pick up an episode of BoJack and watch it independently.
Sure, yeah.
No, you can't because like
Yeah,
there
of
is,
course you can.
dude. Like an
Only after
episode
you've watched
8
it once.
Yes,
In the
episode
whole thing,
8
like-
of BoJack Horseman
Yeah.
is like. In episode 1, it goes from like a sunny sitcom about a
Yeah.
washed-up
Got it. No,
actor
no,
to
Yeah,
course,
like,
yeah,
to
yeah.
8 where it's only not in embers right now because one nice thing happened. You know?
Yeah.
yeah. So you need to see it in order. It's not
Yeah.
like a
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, but it
But I'm
also
saying the
works-
continuity isn't as strong as like the shows that we're talking about. Like I'm saying, I'm talking
dude,
about.
no,
It
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 is.
definitely
I'm not
is.
saying you can't. I'm not saying start season. I'm not at all encouraging this behavior. Okay, but I'm just saying.
Please don't listen to Tejas.
No, I'm
Watch
just saying-
BoJack Horseman in order.
Yeah,
Of course, watch it in order. Of course, watch it in order. Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you like the devil or something? Like, why would you just like watch randomly?
The continuity is stronger in BoJack Horseman than in most live-action shows.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
throwaway joke in one of the first couple of episodes where the D from the Hollywood
yeah.
side goes
And now the
missing.
whole
Okay.
world calls it
Hollywood.
Hollywood. Yeah.
All right, fine, fair enough. Okay.
Hollywood stars, do they know things? Let's find out.
Let's find out. So I'm completely for the Netflix binge only kind of show.
Okay.
And it's just what I was saying. It's just like just because you have the medium doesn't mean you do anything you want with it.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah,
you
sure,
exploit
like, that's
it.
The
of
issue is not
course.
with the medium.
Yeah.
Issues
The
with
issue
the
is
show.
when you use the medium as a crutch. Like
Yeah.
you're papering over issues with your plot and your villains because you know people will binge it and go like,
Fair enough.
they
No,
won't
yeah.
notice.
So I'm
Yeah.
not at all saying that Defenders is that show. It's not at all by any means.
Yeah.
But I am curious about how you can take this 8-hour, like, you know, like a straight up binge and kind of mold it to the way that you
How
really
about
want
this?
it. Yeah.
How about this? Will there be, if there's a Defenders 2, would you watch it?
100% it would
And if
be.
you would, how would it improve on Defenders 1? question one answer is yes, I would watch it because
Yes.
it cannot be worse than this. They're clearly going to listen.
That you never know.
I
would watch
really
it.
don't think so because they got a lot right and they're going to hear from people about what they got right.
I don't think so, man.
I think so.
a lot of
I would
people. I
love
think
it.
there's been a lot of positive
There's
response to
been
this show.
it's a mixed show overall review wise.
yeah?
I do not. I think you
Yeah.
read all the first 4 episode reviews. You didn't
No,
read
in fact, like before the show aired,
they-
and the journalist
they-
reviews came
they
out, they
all
were all
reviewed-
like, it's great, but
yeah,
it's
but
like,
they only did 4 episodes. They were all given 4 episodes. So you read any of those, they'll say a disclaimer, we've only seen the first 4.
Right.
So they have not seen the whole show. And when they did, a lot of them turned around and said no, like Verge. They were like, oh, it was great, but you know.
Like with Luke Cage.
Exactly.
It was so good for those first 8 episodes, but then
It
like
just
the fact
turned,
that it
yeah.
became worse makes me hate it more.
I guess.
But I would
I
say
had
This is the thing. I like
Sure.
Luke Cage throughout. So
I really like Luke Cage
I
throughout.
don't. I mean, that's one thing. I think. I mean, this is the thing. All
Yeah.
these shows have different things for different people, for sure. Like in everything in life. But
yeah, like personally,
what
I thought Jessica Jones was my favorite of the lot.
I just think that what they have to do is they've got to like take what's good and really run with it. Otherwise, people are going to tune out because it's not worth the investment. It's really not. Like, I don't feel like I got what I wanted from the Defenders.
Yeah, I also feel that there was. Like after watching the show and finishing, I'm not like, wait, that was great. I'm
Yeah,
just like,
there was no scene where I went, ooh, Defenders are here too.
Oh,
Listen, we saw
I had a few fist bump moments.
Well,
I
look,
had like the first time they meet at Midland Circle.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought, you see, we
Sorry,
had
I
to
want
watch.
to make a disclaimer. I love these shows.
We had to watch
Should've
what,
said that in the
4
beginning.
That's
movies?
clear.
4 movies to watch the Avengers, but we had to watch 5 TV shows to get to this TV show. That's a lot of commitment. That's a lot of time.
That's
a
why,
lot of,
again, for season 2, if they went back to the villain of the week format for this show, I'd be gladly watching it because I'm like, okay, give us a new villain every week.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's why I was going to say I really like these shows as opposed to like Gotham and Flash who have
Because
spent
it's
enough
not
time.
a villain of the week?
Yeah,
I'm fine without villain of the week. I'm okay. I'm
okay,
fine
yeah.
with this.
They should experiment with the style, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Marvel
Just
universe can do that.
do more of what doesn't get people to start checking their phones.
Yeah.
Because I do things when
Exactly.
I'm watching these shows.
Exactly.
Because I know there's going to be a lot of navel gazing. There's going to be a lot of like random scenery chewing. I'll answer emails. Yeah, you're just all looking at each other and wondering what's happening. That's basically like, especially in Luke Cage, they would do this all the time where they would just go off on some tangent about how life in Harlem is different. I enjoyed that, but I think a lot of people hated it.
So
It's too much.
I mean, of course, this is so subjective. I mean, like again, things that you
See, but
like
Tejas,
again as opposed
I
to
get
some
it,
people.
but
not
Tejas,
liking
that's
it.
one character on his one show.
Yeah.
You have 4 characters and their extended casts to play with. Why are you still doing this? Like in Avengers, they don't take the time to set up these people.
That's like some of the most economical writing.
Yeah,
I've
but
seen.
but
yeah.
why is it the most economical writing? Because they know how much real estate they have to play in here. Why confine yourself to the one area right now where it's just Tony Stark doing this one thing and we just look at him and his life? No, we're always constantly interacting with the other Avengers.
I love that though. Sorry, just-
Maybe
Yeah.
because it's using the medium as a crutch once again. It took
Yeah.
us 65 hours of television to get to this point.
Exactly.
And we still don't feel as strongly about these characters as, 12 movies, 13 movies?
Yeah.
I've lost count.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's not strong enough writing, which I feel is, again,
I mean,
using...
they had so much time and energy and resources to give us likable characters. They've given us likable characters.
Yeah.
And there's so much you could have done with those. For example, now, if they don't do villain of the week, they do halfway villain of the show.
Yeah.
Halfway villain of the show.
Yeah.
is
Let's,
the
That's
perfect
what-
way to put it.
let's
That's
end
what
this
Luke
one,
Cage
put
did
it
and I
another
hated
one.
that.
Yeah, for sure.
I hated Luke Cage for doing that though.
I mean,
because
I got very
Cottonmouth
upset when
was such
Cottonmouth
a-
died. But
He
then,
was the best.
but then,
those shows are done in
But
like
even
2-3
Daredevil
arcs.
season 2 did that, right? Like
Yeah,
they had
2-3 arcs.
they had
Daredevil
Punisher coming
season
in,
2,
then Punisher coming in. And then-
people are blind to Daredevil season 2 only because the Punisher made it good.
Good, yeah.
Otherwise,
Well, yeah, that's what makes it
Exactly.
good.
So that
it would
prison
have
scene is
easily
some
been
scene
the
that
weakest.
I'll go back to watch again and again.
Yeah.
He kills those mother like no business.
Yeah.
And like there's nothing like that in this.
Yeah,
At all.
and
Yeah.
because the Punisher is such a strong character, you
Also,
can't
yeah,
change
this-
the Punisher.
this,
There's no interpreting the Punisher. The Punisher kills people.
So,
That's it,
did you also
know?
feel that this show was a bit PG? Sorry, just to kind
It
of...
was.
It was,
right?
yeah.
Because I remember
Compared to
Daredevil
Daredevil, for
season
sure.
1, right?
Daredevil
Like where
season
that guy
2, yeah.
impales himself just to not give away Wilson Fisk's
Oh wait,
name.
that's how Murakami dies. The most anticlimactic
does he
fashion
die?
of all time.
Can't remember.
They're going up
He's
the damn
impaled
lift
by a rod.
on their way
Oh,
up.
right.
He's he's just there. He's going to punch somebody, and Luke Cage just pushes him out the window, and they start talking to each other again. Huh? So it's like no one has acknowledged that this is some main guy from the hand who, like 2 seasons ago, we'd been trembling in our boots. Who is this Japanese guy? He sent Nobu in. He's going to destroy us all. He's a psychopath. Everyone's even Stick has bigged him up. Oh, this guy, amazing. Yeah. He's a complete crazy person.
Don't even come close to him because he'll do something
he'll do something terrible. He's a true villain of all villains, or some shit Stick says.
Yeah.
Now he's in the lift, which he's climbed. One guy pushes him, and it's literally Luke Cage and Iron Fist are talking, and this guy shows up, and Luke Fist, he just pushes him, he falls out, and they go back to talking.
That's the way to defeat the villains. That's the way.
What is happening? Them as an after.
Don't give them the power.
What is happening?
Yeah. Also, I want to say that I miss Stick. I think he was a good character.
Yeah. I mean, anyone who's just thundering dumbass is my hero.
Again,
I'm just saying, just
kind of
the actor,
he was solid.
and his delivery, and he's good. Yeah,
I like him.
Great actor. All right, cool. We're gonna wrap this mother up.
Let's do a round robin here and rank all the Netflix shows since we're done with one set of seasons for all of them.
All right, sure.
I feel like it'll give me insight into your personalities because there's so many opposing views here.
Are we going bottom to top or top to bottom? How are you going?
Yeah, okay. So
that's another insight I'll have.
From number 1 for the best show to the least good.
I think we should go least good.
Okay, least good onwards. So Iron Fist.
We all agree on that.
I think let's all go Iron Fist at the bottom.
Okay, so Iron Fist. Iron Fist. I think Defenders.
Yeah.
Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil Season 2, Daredevil Season 1.
Okay. My top 3 would vary. I say Jessica Jones at the top, then Daredevil Season 1, then Daredevil Season 2.
Mine would vary as Daredevil Season 1 on top, Jessica Jones and Daredevil Season 2.
Okay.
Yes. No, I actually like Season 2 also.
I think Season 2 is good, but weaker than the first.
I have Daredevil
Only because
Season
David Tennant is there in Jessica Jones.
I have Daredevil Season 1 below Luke Cage. Luke Cage is 1 for me. Daredevil Season 1, Jessica Jones, Daredevil Season 2. Actually, I think Daredevil Season 2 before Jessica Jones. So yeah, Jessica Jones is
I feel like all these shows could have been stronger again if they'd done the 8-episode model because they had great plot.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, man. I thought Daredevil Season 1 was pretty on point,
is the only one that actually pulled it off. I think Jessica Jones took a tumble after episode 8ish. Luke Cage definitely did. Daredevil Season 2, because it had multiple arcs, kind of managed it.
You know why Daredevil works is because these stories are always strong. Really strong.
Karen and Foggy are trying to do this time.
I can watch Foggy do anything. Okay, and Karen, I sort of alternate between hating her and liking her.
I like
her. Yeah, but then she does some really dumb stuff and you're like, why did you do this? And then she wins you back. So it's cool, like you can watch all that.
Dude, yeah, her character is awesome. Shit, it's really good. I just want to end with this one last thing. Why did they bring Marcy in just for like one shot? She doesn't even say anything.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Who can say at this point?
There's a
I like Marcy. Sorry. Okay. All right. Thank you guys for being here. I'd say, I mean, for anybody who's listening till now, well done. That's how we felt after watching so many hours of Marvel's Netflix stuff. But yeah, if you like the show, tell us what you think. If you don't like it, tell us what you think. And I think our overall opinion is watch it. Sure.
Yeah.
All
right.
I feel like this is a show that defies overall opinion.
Yeah.
I'm like still
everyone can take something out of it, man. That's the thing. Everyone gets something.
We all came into this saying, "I'll tell you how bad it is," and you're like, "No, I'll defend how good it is," and we all just ended up at the mediocrity at how this show is actually.
No, but I don't think it's a mediocre show.
Yeah.
I still feel like it was a slog.
There are mediocre shows, and this is not one of them.
I would hesitate to call it good.
Yeah,
I will call it fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a fun.
Hey guys, you want to have some fun or what?
This is like the equivalent
watch this for 2 hours, and then in the third hour the fun will happen.
It's the
what if you went bowling for 8 hours?
No, but what if for the first 2 hours we just tried shoes on, and then the third hour we went bowling?
It's the TV equivalent of going to Magic. I will say that.
Oh man.
Or playing golf for that matter.
Yeah. Golf can be good. All right.
It goes in the hole only once.
Thank you guys. Bye, you nerds.
एक्सक्यूज मी भैया, एक्सक्यूज मी.
बोलिए मैडम.
मेन्यू में क्या है?
मेन्यू में सीन अनसीन है, पॉडकास्ट है, ऑन कोर्स है, साइरस है, मेड इन इंडिया, रीडिस्कवरी प्रोजेक्ट, एम्पावरिंग सीरीज, सेक्स वैक्स है, IVM लाइक्स है, सिंप्लीफाइड है, कीपिंग इट क्वियर है, थिंग्स एंड डेस्टिनेशंस है, माय नेबर जकरबर्ग है और द फैन गराज है. आपको क्या चाहिए?
एक बार रिपीट कर देंगे क्या?
रिपीट नहीं करता हम. आप जाओ IVMpodcast.com पे और सुनो ये सब, या फिर डाउनलोड करो उनका ऐप. सब आपकी उंगलियों पे.